Hey everybody, it's Hallie, and I just got back from a about 2-week trip with my husband and our 3 kids that are 4, 2, and 4 months. We went to New York City and we traveled around from the Northwest area. We flew into LaGuardia and went into the city. We stayed downtown and went out to Brooklyn one day. This is kind of our experience and how we traveled with 3 young kids in New York. We aren't super strict about car seats and stuff, so we did not bring our own car seats. We did use cabs, and we did not have car seats during those. So that is one disclaimer I want to say, because I know a lot of people are particular about that. And we did a carry-on only. We did not have any checked luggage. So what we did was we had one layover, so it was about 2 3-hour flights. Flew there and the layovers went well. We had 2 roller bags that were pretty nice ones to have. I got them off of Amazon and I used those. One person would have those and one would be wearing the baby in the baby wrap. And then we had the Baby Zen yo-yo stroller that can go above the overhead compartments. And we had our 2-year-old in that. And that we could kind of put some other bags or the kids' backpacks on there. But each person had a backpack as well. So I had my backpack purse. My husband had a backpack that just had extra clothes and diapers in it and kind of the electronic stuff. And then my kids each had a backpack which had pretty much nothing in it except a few toys and a book each, I think. We didn't pack any, we don't do iPads for the kids. We do have an iPad that's ours that we brought to watch TV on in the Airbnb, but I think we used that once or twice for the kids to watch a show, but we didn't use it on the plane or anything. So I'm kind of bad about packing snacks. I didn't pack any snacks or anything for the kids, but I just let them pick which thing they wanted on the airplane and made it kind of part of the experience. So that was a fun thing for them. And they did have the screens on the airplane, so the kids thought that was really cool to watch all their Paw Patrol they could manage in a 2-hour flight, or any movie that they could find on there that we were cool with. So one thing I will say too is the configuration of the seats, which sometimes varied, but most of the time it was, we had a whole row with, we would do the 2 older kids and my husband, and then I would sit on the end cap aisle with the baby. And sometimes I had to sit behind them. But other than that, that worked out well, and I could kind of help out as much as I could. If I needed to hand off the baby, I could right there, and that wasn't too difficult. So the kids were great on the flight, a lot better than we expected, and that was nice as well. And then once we got there, we took a cab to our Airbnb, and we stayed in what was a pretty much a one, it was like a 2-bedroom unit with a kitchen and such, but we ate out most of our meals. And it was really nice. It was centrally located, so it was easy for a lot of friends to come visit us and for us to go visit friends. We planned to eat out because we like to go to restaurants, and so it was really fun. There were a lot of them within walking distance of us, and if they weren't, we tried to take the subway, which we thought wasn't going to work out with kids, but it actually worked out really well, and our kids were really into it, a little too into it. They wanted to ride it everywhere. But we would just, one person would wear the baby and hold the older kid's hand, and he's pretty trustworthy. I don't expect him to go running off in the subway tracks. And then the 2-year-old would be held by the other person, and they would fold up and hold the stroller as well if we brought that. So, and then someone would wear the backpack when we traveled, the purse backpack, diaper bag thing. So I can do a video later talking about our diaper bag system and kind of our bag system and how we operate things, but it was a really good system for the trip. Overall, I would say I packed a little bit more than I should have, and for future trips I definitely will pack less, but I didn't know I was going to have a washer and dryer, and when I did find that out, it made it much easier on everyone. But we did do laundry pretty much every day. But as far as getting around the city and things we did, we stuck to relatively kid-friendly things. the weather was not good while we were there, but we did the parks and the playgrounds. We did a off-Broadway show, which was the Gazillion Bubble Show, which was good. The kids were into it, but I wouldn't recommend it. I didn't love it, but it wasn't for me. And overall, we just did a lot of walking and just a lot of restaurant eating. So we would try to get the kids to eat out at a restaurant at least once, sometimes twice a day, which was pushing it. Otherwise, we would order in or pick food up and eat it at the apartment. But we did go to some pretty fancy restaurants, and our kids did well for the most part. And if they didn't, then we managed and probably got out of there as fast as we could. But it was nice because in New York, a lot of the restaurants, the wait staff go really quickly. So it is easier for kids to eat as long as you kind of look at the menu ahead of time and know what you guys want and what your plan is. You can kind of get in there and order it and then just get everything going more quickly. And we ate relatively early at nicer restaurants with the kids so that we weren't, there during like romantic dinners and very cool, very kind things. It was mostly like the very late lunch crowds to people with kids crowd. There were a lot of people in the same situation as us. Wherever we went, we tipped really well, especially if the kids were slightly misbehaved. So restaurants or coffee shops or with cabs and stuff, it was definitely good. We did give our kids a talking to ahead of time that was hold the hand of the parent pretty much all the time. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Don't leave your money out and just, don't talk to strangers situation. But more than anything, everybody was really friendly. There were some great parks in the city along the Chelsea Pier and some little hidden ones that aren't on any of the Google or Apple maps. So those were really fun. But it was just a really cool experience, and I think everyone in our family really loved it. I wouldn't say we didn't want to come home, but there was kind of an air of that, but we were all happy to get back to the peace and quiet of the mountains. But we definitely will go back, and it definitely wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. We have some more trips coming up, and it did get our confidence up on traveling with kids, especially young kids. And you don't have to do it with screens. You can. Whatever tools work for you is best. But I guess I would just say approach it with really low expectations and don't plan too much. Like we planned to overplan and to be flexible with canceling things. And that was definitely the best way to do it. We actually stayed in downtown Manhattan, and I thought it'd be a little too crazy for the kids, but it actually turned out to be perfect, and there were a lot of families around there, and everybody was really friendly, like way friendlier than I remember people being. So it's worth it if you want to go and try some things out. We did the Manhattan's Children's Museum, and that was a really fun experience for the kids. We opted for that instead of the Met because we wanted to go to the Met, and it was the day after the Met Gala, and they had a lot of exhibits closed, and we were just, this isn't going to work for small kids thought process. So we opted for something that they could touch and feel, and it worked out much better than I think it could have. So if you're interested in going on a trip like this with your kids and young kids, don't be afraid to do it. Keep relatively realistic expectations and, just take every moment as it comes and deal with it in that moment. One thing I will say is our Airbnb had a crib in it for the baby, which was great, and like a pack and play. And we ended up buying a potty for our potty training toddler. And that was a bit rough, but we had a few accidents. She didn't really want to go to the bathroom anywhere because the toilets were really weird. But we would pack extra clothes and we would wash the clothes, and it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then we ended up buying the kids' potty, and that was a savior at the Airbnb. So if that is your experience and you're kind of what you're going through and you're nervous to take a trip with your potty training kid, worst that can happen is they have an accident, and that's really not that bad. Just throw a plastic bag and a change of clothes in your bag and you'll be good. But I hope you guys have the best of luck if you're taking this journey or you just enjoyed the tips, and I'll see you later. Bye.